Yeah! Get up!
What is up, everybody? We're riding into the sunset here. Well, I mean, it's not really the sunset, but for you guys, I'm sure the sun is pointing right at you on this video, and I don't like to do that, so we'll see if we can't change directions here to make it a little bit better for you all. Actually, yeah, this would be a good place to do that. But it's time for another Ask Me Something segment on That One Guy. And the question today comes from one of my subscribers, Celia, who also has his own YouTube channel. Check it out. He's a admirable young man who likes to post on his quad as well as live stream his video games, and I am a video game guy, so if you are also into video games, check him out. But his question is, what was your first impression of Harley-Davidson saying that they were going to move production out of the United States, and how do I feel about that? So first off, production being moved out of the United States, I'm going to completely defer on this part to Matt Laidlaw, who did a really good video, so I'm going to put a link up here, and you really should go check that out if it's something that you're concerned about, because Matt Laidlaw really just puts it all out there and says, hey, listen, because of what's happening with tariffs and with politics, it's really heavily political, the reason why this is happening. Whether you believe that or not, that's all up to you, but because of the tariffs that are being put on certain U.S. and foreign goods, it was better for the customer and it's better for the company for Harley-Davidson to move production of the bikes that they're going to be selling in Europe to overseas. And I believe, I can't remember if they're going to produce them in India, but they're moving production out of the United States for bikes made in the UK and in Europe. And you know, this is, like I said, it's good for the company because anytime you move production out of the United States, it's going to save you money. That's the whole reason why people do that. Obviously, they wouldn't do it if it didn't save them any money. So they're moving production out of the United States to save money, but it's to offset the cost of those people who buy bikes that are in Europe. Now, the people who buy bikes in Europe, and I'm talking about Harley-Davidson specifically, we're going to be paying a lot more, and they already do pay a lot more than we do here in the US. So kudos to all you riders out there, all you Harley-Davidson riders outside of the United States that are paying an even bigger premium for your bikes. Got to take my hat off, because it's a sacrifice, it's a lifestyle, and it's something that I know that you're very dedicated customers, very dedicated riders, and I got to take my hat off to that. But they would have seen even bigger premiums on their motorcycles. Their motorcycle prices would have went up considerably. So to alleviate that and to also save money because of other tariffs and taxes, that, again, like I said, this is purely political, so I don't really like to talk about it on my channel, but because Mr. Celia asked, I'm telling. So long story short, because of certain tariffs that have been put on certain goods, Harley-Davidson has moved production out of the United States, but not for bikes bought in the US. So if you're buying a bike in the US, for the most part, you're buying a bike built in the US. And when I say for the most part, it's because, you know, some of these parts aren't made in the US. So even though you are buying a bike that was made here, it doesn't mean it's fully like made in the USA. So there you go. That is what is happening. So my first impression was purely political. It was, I'm not happy with the current administration and what they're doing and how it's affecting some of my favorite companies. And some of my favorite companies have been outspoken about how they feel about these tariffs that are affecting the way that they're going to have to adjust their pricing both here domestically in the United States and internationally. So my first impression was, this is stupid. This does not have to happen. It's only happening because people are making bad decisions. I don't like to talk about politics on this channel, so that is all I will say about that, is that I was disappointed in the decisions that were made to arrive at where we are and why Harley would have to produce motorcycles outside of the United States. So my first impression was bad, all bad. Now, how do I feel about it? Because of Matt Laidlaw's video that cleared things up considerably, and coming from, not the source, but I mean, he's a Harley-Davidson dealer, and he's one of the oldest Harley-Davidson dealers in Southern California, I believe. You know, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to say I appreciate that, and I appreciate the information that he laid out for us. I believe him, and I believe that this is the only reason, and that if you buy a bike here in the United States, it was built here in the United States. So how do I feel about it now? The way I feel about it now is, personally for me, as much as I like to support you know, made in the USA and buy products that were made here in the United States, I am of the belief that as much as we need to support ourselves in our own country, we are part of the rest of this planet. What we do doesn't just affect us, it also affects the rest of the people in this world. And so for the United States to be taking positions of America first, I don't agree with that at all. I believe America, yes, America needs to take care of its own, but we should not be looking at ourselves on an island. What we do affects others, and what others do affects us. And so when I look at the approach that some people are taking with this America first, and what seems to me like America only, not just looking at America first, but only looking at America, that's a really ignorant way to look at things, in my humble opinion. Because like I said, we're not here alone, and we're not in this our economics affect world economics, and likewise. So this is really hard for me to do without really delving into the politics of it all and my political views, and I kind of refuse to get into that, mostly because my channel, I like to keep things light, I like to laugh, I like to do fun things, and I don't like to get into and get bogged down in how I feel about politics, and because there's just too much of that. There's too much of that on TV, there's too much of that on YouTube, there's just too much of that, period. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Again, I would really urge you to check out Matt Laidlaw's video on this subject, because I think he lays it out really clearly, and really he puts a positive spin on it as well. He gives honest opinions, and I appreciate him very much. So that's all I've got on this topic. Again, this is what was Ask Me Something. If you want to ask me something, you can either leave it in the comments, your question that you'd like me to either address on the channel, or I can address it right there in the comments. If you'd like to get a shout out for your channel, or you'd like to get a shout out for your Instagram page, let me know. And if you'd like to keep all of those things a little more personal, send me a message on my webpage, which is thatoneguymoto.com, and I will answer your question however you would like. So that's all I've got for you today, guys. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up down there, which is the like button, and if you're so inclined, hit the subscribe button, which I'll pop up right over yonder. And I'll also throw up some links over here in this direction, so you guys can check out one of my other videos if you so please. Guys, if you're out there riding, be safe, and if you're not riding, get riding. This is That One Guy, and I am out.